Well, happy Tuesday to you. I thought I would take you along for one of my morning routines that I love to do before I go into the workshop, and that is popping out to the breakwater and just taking a little stroll down the causeway. You got water on both sides, which is pretty phenomenal, and it's a real unique feature to this area. Causeways are not real common, and we're fortunate enough to have one that reaches all the way into the Bay of Green Bay, almost a half a mile. And I think you've traveled there with me before in the car, but I don't know that we've ever done it on foot. So we're gonna walk out to the point today, turn around, walk on back, and then head into the workshop. I've got a busy day today. I've got to pack up a net Stover's CI-21A and get it heading towards Texas, and also have to begin preparations after the premiere to pack up John Smith's Type 21 as well. That's going to be heading back down to Florida. And a couple of you that have come to visit the workshop, we either have gone on this path out to the causeway, because I just think it's a phenomenal feature of this area. Others I've invited to go, and for whatever reason they couldn't make the trip. But as you can see, we launched this premiere just about 60 seconds from the workshop. So the distance from the workshop to the water, and actually the water is much closer if you look at the Oconto River and other parts of the bay, reach real close. If you look on a map, Oconto is right on the edge of the Bay of Green Bay. And this is called Breakwater Park. Pretty much all of the boats have been pulled out of the water by now, but the harbor master stays here almost year-round just to keep an eye on things, make sure things are safe, that they're respected, and that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we're just going to park right here, and then we'll walk down the causeway. Kind of see why I enjoy coming to this area. Isn't that beautiful? We've got the morning sun that's here to greet us, and the water's shimmering, and even prettier once we get out of the car. And it's only about, let me see what the temperature is on the car right now. So we're at only about 34 degrees right now as this premiere is occurring. It's been getting down into the 20s already. So, I mean, we're heading towards winter whether we like it or not. We're heading towards winter. All right, let's go for a walk. You're always seeing the workshop. Now you can see my extended workshop, where I kind of take a little break away from things. And I like to start my day here too. It's just a beautiful place to start the day, isn't it? You probably have an area somewhat like this where you are. It may not look just like this. It may not even be water. Maybe it's some valleys, maybe it's a mountain range, or hills, or some lakes, or maybe the ocean. If you happen to be living on the coast, or maybe in another country. I just scared the ducks. That wasn't cool. Ducks are a little skittish though, if you think about it. They really are. So like I said, once you step onto this causeway, and you can step on it, you can walk it, you can run it, you can bike it, you can drive on it all year round. And when we were ramping up for that giveaway that I did for the 1885 Singer 12K, we did some of the premiere out here too. You probably remember that. I just spooked a bunch of ducks. I'm gonna get all kinds of nasty notes from PETA about this. But we get eagles out here and white owls, all kinds of critters. I've even seen a small critter. It almost looked like a llama, but it obviously isn't. I don't know what it was. But it'll probably take us to walk all the way out to the point and back 10-15 minutes or so as we continue to scare ducks. Here's somebody using a chainsaw off in the distance. We've had a lot of wind coming through here recently. Even today it's a little bit windy, and when the temperatures are in the 30s and it's windy, you better bundle up, I'll tell you. And over that way to the left, as we're walking out on this causeway, you can see we got a long ways to walk yet. Over that direction, if you keep going that way, it runs into Michigan. And if you go this way, where you can see land way off in the distance, kind of see it, you end up going towards some touristy areas in Wisconsin called Egg Harbor and all kinds of pretty places out that way. So this kind of stretches out, and you have the opportunity to kind of think about what other people are doing this time of the morning. Once in a while I sneak away and take walks like this in the afternoon too. It's nice to have a place to get away to, isn't it? Especially if you don't have to travel a long distance to get to it. Just take a break from things. Just take a break. We all need a break, don't we? Not too many seagulls out this morning. Looks like you have some sort of a boat off there in the distance. We'll kind of zoom in on it. I'm curious what kind of boat it is. Get all kinds of boats out this way. Right in Oconto, if you don't know it, we have a company, and I've been invited a couple of times to go in and service their commercial machines because they build yachts that are shipped all over the world, right from little Oconto here. And they've got a huge sewing room where they do all of the leather sewing, and we'll just take a little walk over here where the birds like to sit. I don't know if we'll be able to see them or not. I'll zoom in a little bit. Again, I'm looking through my little screen, so you're probably going to see a lot more once this is published than I can see right now. Kind of looking into the sun, so it's a little bit hard to see. All right, well, the clock is ticking, so we're going to keep on walking. I hate when people drop trash like that, don't you? You see what I'm looking at? There's something called garbage cans, people. Don't drop it in nature. Don't drop it in nature. It's not cool. So you can kind of see if I pause here for just a second, you see the distance that we've already traveled onto the water from land. Gives you an idea of how far this causeway reaches out into the water. Now we're getting closer to that boat or whatever it is. Let's see if I can just pause for a second and zoom in on it, take a closer look. That's interesting, isn't it? Almost resembles, from this distance, almost kind of resembles a submarine or something, doesn't it? Well, we'll keep on walking. We're only going to get closer to it unless it moves. Hands are actually getting cold. I'm going to stick one hand in my pocket. We saw the temperature on my car. It's only about probably 33, 34 right now. And as you step out onto the causeway, there's obviously a lot more wind, so that cold factor becomes even more intense. Well, whatever that is, the birds sure are intrigued by it, aren't they? There's just a ton of seagulls over there gathering around that boat, or whatever that vessel is. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's been several months ago, as all of the political stuff was ramping up, that the president came to Marinette, which is just about 18 or 20 miles north of Oconto, and he must have flown from, I'm guessing, Green Bay, Austin Straubel Airport, up to Marinette with Marine One, and then flew back to Green Bay, where he picked up Air Force One and went back to Washington. But I was out on this causeway, not even realizing that he had been in Marinette. I don't watch the news a lot. I think a lot of us have kind of turned away from the news because it's oftentimes so negative. And I'm out right about at this point right here, and all of a sudden I see a cluster of really, really funky looking, they almost look like huge drones, but they were some type of military high-tech helicopter, and they had 3 different clusters that they were flying, and in one of those clusters was the president, but they always, you know, make it difficult for someone that would want to do him harm, figure out which cluster it is. And I kind of looked up right as they flew over the top of me, which was kind of neat. And of course I waved, because you don't know if that's the one or not. What an interesting vessel, isn't it? Almost wonder if it's abandoned, because the seagulls are just sitting on it like it's a perch almost. All right, let's continue to walk. This is a nice little spot that they built that a lot of fishermen use, and it was designed specifically for handicapped people so that they could park near it and they could roll right on here without doing any stairs, and they would be able to fish from here or just enjoy a nice warm summer day, which we certainly don't have today. And then usually right there in the center where you can see that mount, there's a viewer that you can look through, and it does a pretty good job of magnifying a good distance out, so you can either look towards Egg Harbor, the direction we're pointing right now, or you can spin it around and look towards Michigan. That's kind of neat. Just about there, just about there. And then we'll be able to look back as we're heading back, and you can see the distance that we traveled. Oh. We'll stop here again and take another look at that strange vessel, whatever it is. It almost kind of does resemble a submarine, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe we'll see something in the newspapers tomorrow about this thing. Whatever it is. All right, we're gonna head back. My hands are actually starting to turn red because the air is cold enough, especially with that wind. And no, I didn't wear gloves. That sure is pretty right there, isn't it? Place to have lunch, good place to come out here and just park at the end of the day, as I've done a couple times, and I've shared photos of the sunset, which would be this direction. And this is such a neat tree right here. I can't imagine how long this tree has been here, but it's been here as long as I have been in this area, which hasn't been terribly long, but it's a real cool tree. Yeah, it would have been something to see when they built this causeway, wouldn't it? I can't imagine what the water depth is here and how much buildup they had to do in order to eventually put in a roadway that would support cars and trucks, and they periodically will drive tractors out here as well. Tractors that can carry additional rocks out because of erosion issues. Hard to see off in the distance, but we have a car coming down this way. A lot of people will, it's almost like a ritual. They'll drive out here. They really don't linger. They don't spend any time. They just drive out to the point, they turn around and they drive right back off, almost like it was on a checklist. And they wanted to make sure that they didn't forget to do it that day, so they put it on a checklist. Well, there actually are some boats out here still, surprisingly. Kind of stop here for a second and catch this boat as it goes by. Again, I'm kind of looking into the sun right now, so I was lost there for a second as far as where the thing was. I bet you they've had a cold ride in that. All right, let's keep on going. I want to get back to the warm car. If we do this again, if we take another walk together on the Causeway, I'm going to bring gloves next time. Learn from our mistakes, don't we? My mouth is kind of freezing up a little bit almost. Kind of excited to get back to the workshop and get working on a Nets CI-21A, get it all packed up and get it out the door heading towards Texas today. I've had so many great Texas customers. What a fabulous state that is. There's a lot of fabulous states, but it seems like a lot of folks they don't only enjoy vintage sewing machines and sewing down in Texas, but they also are action people. And if they, after doing their research, and they decide the best place to send their machine is Oconto, Wisconsin, then they do it. They don't just think about it. They don't ponder it. They don't wait and wonder. Folks down in Texas are action people. I like that. Not just from the business aspect, but from a lifestyle aspect. You get things done. Remember my one quote, "You're never old until regrets take the place of your dreams." But you have to take action, right, to make those dreams a reality. That's why I like action so much. So we've covered quite a bit of distance already. You kind of look back behind us down the Causeway. We were all the way out at the end of there, out by that strange little vessel again. And it's not going anywhere, so I imagine that it's probably just parked out there. Maybe it's anchored down some way. It sure has my curiosity though, doesn't it? Swinging in the wind. And now it's actually under locomotion. Can you see that? It's actually moving now, so there was somebody in it. And they're probably wondering, if they're looking through binoculars, why is that guy videotaping us? Well, the birds are upset because they can't park on it anymore. They can't use it like a perch. Oh boy, if you could see my hands. I don't know if they show up in the camera how red they are, but that is definitely winter air. that sun saying, put off some heat, please, put off some heat. Does anybody else enjoy going for walks? Even if the air is cold? I probably won't get much of a response from my friends in California or Arizona or Hawaii or any of those other warm climate areas. But I bet you those folks even enjoy walking in the cold, crisp air as we move through fall into winter. And I know many of them will actually travel to areas like Wisconsin because they want to see snow, they want to do some skiing, they want to just have a different change, you know? Kind of pause here again and just kind of go all the way around. And that strange vessel that we were spying on is now coming into the port. Can you see it way off there? I don't know if I can see it. There it is. Boy, that just looks like it could take on the ocean almost, doesn't it? As high as those edges are. And that area on top is kind of closed off. A lot of these folks that live on that shore right over there along the bay here have to contend with flooding all the time as the seasons change and we get heavy rains and we get other changes in the climate, and all of a sudden they'll have to bail out their basements if they have one, or they'll have their front yard underwater, sometimes 2 or 3 feet of water. Some real beautiful homes, but they have to really make sacrifices for being able to enjoy living on the water. And that's probably true of other areas as well around the world, where you're by a river that overflows its banks, or the ocean tide comes in unexpectedly or something like that. Yeah, that strange vessel is catching up on us. We better walk faster. We better walk faster. There it goes, right by us. Just kind of do a turnaround again, and you can see the level of travel that we've had, the distance to travel, the length of travel, however you want to characterize it. Forming complete sentences is always a challenge for me, but especially when I feel like my mouth is freezing. But I wouldn't trade this for anything, quite honestly. It's such a unique experience to break away either first thing in the morning, afternoon, whenever, and just come out here on the Causeway and just enjoy a stroll. Summertime, fall, winter. see the impact of that strange vessel that just came by, kicking up the waves quite a bit. Like I said, that thing looks like it could probably take on the ocean. Those are some real nice benches over there you can see on that little centerpiece. Nice place to sit in the summertime. Wouldn't want to sit there necessarily in the wintertime. Well, thanks for coming along. We had a good walk out there. We just walked a little bit over a mile probably, going all the way out to the end and back. And my hemoglobin, you can tell my lips are frozen. My hemoglobin is still on the low end, so you could probably hear me get a little bit winded as I was walking and talking, which that's irritating, but it is what it is, and we still pushed through it, didn't we? Because we're tough. So, all right, back to the car. I'm going to get the car running and get some heat going. And God bless you guys, and stay tuned for more impromptu premieres like this, where we just might show up somewhere and all of a sudden we'll be on a journey together, which is kind of cool, huh? All right, God bless you. Take care. Bye.